Welcome to Krishna Kathamritam program. This is our Janmashtami pre-celebration program where devotees read from Krishna's childhood pastimes and present the narration of the pastime and their understanding and realizations. And I would like to tell you all that, remind you all that Janmashtami is on 30th, which is 5 days away from Janmashtami. So let's get into the devotional services more and more and purify ourselves. Today, we have two wonderful devotees presenting. First, Prashanth Prabhu. Prashanth Prabhu will be presenting the narration of killing the demon Pralambasura, and Samanvitha will be presenting delivering the wives of Brahmanas who performed sacrifices. So with that, over to you, Prashanth Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Hare Krishna devotees. Happy pre-Janmashtami as we look to build up towards our Lord's appearance day. First off, I'd like to thank Satyasar Prabhuji, Jaswara Mataji, Veena Mataji for giving me this opportunity. Very gracious to be able to present and share this pastime with everybody. Before we start, we will just do some quick prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Mutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravan Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavad Paschat Ishtarne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. And then today can go back. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 18. But that's the true set of verses, but I'm taking most of the context from the Krishna book, so it's easier to narrate and share the pastime. And all the translations are by our Acharya, founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. With that, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. With that, we'll get started. So there are almost two main sections for chapter 18. The first section is really nice. It speaks about Krishna and his pastimes with the Cowherd boys and how wonderful summer was in Vrindavan. So I have pulled some pieces of text here that I really liked and I would like to explain and narrate. And then after that, the second part of the chapter is the appearance of Pralambasura and how the pastime that happens there. And then at the end, I will share my realizations. But at the beginning, here in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadev Goswami is explaining, how nice Vrindavan is and how wonderful Krishna and his cowboy boys and Balarama are playing in the summertime. First, it talks about how summertime in Vrindavan is just like spring. There's some very nicely translated verses here. It explains how, because of so many waterfalls and so many flowers and fragrance, which is all coming from Krishna and Balaram, because of all of these things, the whole area is even in summertime, where it would be normally very hot, is cooled, and the residents there did not suffer from any heat or any calamities due to that. It was always very green, and the rivers were always flowing, and the sun, even though it was, it was summertime, it was shining very brightly. The flowers were always blooming, and it was very cool and just like spring. So it talks about how with all of these bodies of water and waterfalls and flowers, it was aromatic and cooling. So it it sets the stage for even our Vrindavan village next week, right? That's the mood in which all of these gopis and Krishna and Balaram are playing. So the first set of verses also talk about Krishna's childhood that he's spending. So it talks about how Krishna is there engaging in pastimes with his with his friends. He's playing the flute. He's surrounded by his cowherd boys and cows. They're playing in the forest. They're using cymbals, buffalo horns, all of these other different things to engage and play. And then there's several interesting verses here where it talks about how Krishna and the Gopa cowherd boys, they both praise each other, while they are dancing and while they're, playing music. Balaram and Krishna would encourage the gopas. They would say, very good, you're doing very good, you're dancing very nicely. And it's very sweet to hear that, because Krishna is telling his devotees that, oh, they're dancing very nicely, or they're doing something very nice. And likewise, the cowherd boys would also do the same thing. When Krishna and Balaram are dancing, they would do the same thing. They would encourage Lord Krishna, they would encourage Balaram, and they would say, they would encourage each other. So they were always, garlanded by flowers, decorated with saffron chalk. You know, they would play in the forest with the cows, and they would encourage each other and play various different things. Krishna would praise them by saying, "My dear friends, you are very dancing very and singing very nicely," and they would do the same. They would play things like, playing catching with fruits, and they would also play blind man's buff, which I didn't know what it was, but it's, somebody's blindfolded and they have to go catch somebody else and figure out who it is. So they would joke, they would play with, imitate frogs, birds, and they would play king and subject. So this is all, it's very sweet to see how Krishna and Balaram are just having fun with their cowherd friends. So when they were playing, and this is just a nice picture of Balaram and cowherd boys playing. So one day when they're playing in the forest, Balambasra arrives, and he's he's under Kamsa's orders, and he's there to kidnap Krishna and Balaram. So in this, when he arrives, Krishna being Krishna, he immediately realizes that you know that that this is a demon, and he understood that it was a demon, but he still pretended to accept the demon as a friend, and while some still considering how to kill him. Right. So Krishna then devises this game. He says, "Okay, let's play this game where we have two teams, and whoever wins, the losing team has to carry them on their back." So Krishna is on one side, and Balarama is on the other side, and the demon, kind of calculating what to do, the demon decided to be on Krishna's side. Then the boys play the game, and then the eventually Krishna's team loses. So then what happens is everybody on Krishna's team has to carry the other team. So what Krishna carries Sri Rama, Bhadrasena carries Vrishabha, and then Pralamba carries Balarama. And they were aiming to go to a tree. It's a big banyan tree known as Bandrika. So they carried on this pastime until they got to this tree. But what what the demon did was, as soon as they got there, the demon started to run away with Balarama on its back. And then the great demon carried Balarama far away. But then, as soon as it got far away, the Lord became very heavy. The Balarama became very heavy because Balarama is the first expansion of Krishna. So then Pralamba could not. He was in a cowherd boy form, so he couldn't. He couldn't. He couldn't hold Balarama. So what he does then is he starts to expand and resume his actual form, which is a large person covered with golden ornaments and gilded throughout. So he resembles his demon form. And Lord Balarama, observing this, he's still on this demon's back. He gets momentarily scared by the demon, as the demon's blazing eyes, hair, terrible teeth, all of these things. The Lord was a little frightened, but he's Balarama's expansion of the Lord. So in the very next moment, he realizes what's happening, and he becomes furious, and he hits Pralambasura's head with his fist, and it's described as just as Indra strikes a mountain with his thunderbolt weapon. So as soon as Balarama hits him, hits Pralambasura immediately dies. His head is smashed. He's vomiting blood from his mouth, and he's lost all consciousness, and he falls with a great noise to the ground like a mountain. And then the cowherd boys, they all celebrate. They were frightened that this demon came and took Balarama away, and they explained that it was, oh, well done, excellent, as though he had just returned from the dead. So then the demigods, they saw this. They showered flowers on Balarama. They also shared their blessings. So this is the kind of pastime and what's in the actual set of verses in the Krishna book. So I wanted to share quickly. This is the picture, and you can see the gopas and the cows are far away. I just wanted to share my quick realizations. So, and Radha Krishna Prabhu very nicely mentioned these things on last week, and then I was also able to read a little bit more. So Balarama represents our Guru Tattva, right? He represents the potency of the Guru, and all of our gurus have the potency of Balarama. And Pralamba represents, greed for position, money, honor, position, illicit sex, lust, all of these things that inhibit us from spiritual progress and prevent us from performing devotional service. So what I understood was, these sinful desires, just like Pralamba, they will carry us far, far away from Krishna. And just like Pralamba, these desires will grow without devotees and Krishna around us. They'll appear gilded and gleaming, but underneath it's just demoniac, and they were sinful and it will destroy us. But Balaram in this story, he represents our guru, right? He's representing our Guru Parampara and the power of our Guru, who by smashing all of these desires and crushing these anarthas that we have, he can get us back to Krishna and back to the devotees. So the power of the Guru is such that they can destroy all of our anarthas and prevent us from progressing in spiritual life. So I will end here, and that's all I had in here. And I wish everyone happy Janmashtami, and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you everybody.
Thank you, Prashanth Prabhu. That was really very beautiful narration of how Lord Balram killed Pralam Basu, and the way you described the Vrindavan in the summertime and how beautiful the whole place was. Very nice, and your realizations were really very good, Prabhu, of Nakuru Tattva. Really fantastic. Thank you, Prabhu. That was a really great presentation. With that, devotees, now Samanvitha will be doing the next presentation. The chapter 23, delivering the wives of the Brahmanas who perform sacrifices. Hare Krishna, Samanvitha.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I'm sharing my screen. So, Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to read Krishna book and present my favorite chapter. I am presenting Delivering the Wives of the Brahmanas who perform sacrifices. So before we read the Krishna book, there is one prayer to read. Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Pahimam. So, it was a very beautiful morning in Vrindavan. Krishna, Balarama, and all the Cowherd boys were playing. The Cowherd boys have skipped breakfast, so they were very hungry. They went to Krishna and Balarama and said, "Oh, Krishna and Balarama, you are all powerful. You have killed many, many demons, but today we are afflicted by so much hunger. Please give us something to eat." Krishna and Balarama told, Krishna said to ask food from the Brahmanas who were performing sacrifices a little place away. They said, tell that Balarama is hungry, not that Krishna, because we usually give, charity is usually given to first-class Brahmanas, but neither Krishna or Balarama were Brahmanas. Krishna was known as the son of Nanda Maharaj, a Vaishya, and Balarama was known as the son of Vasudeva, a Kshatriya. But Brahmanas can give charity to Kshatriyas. So they asked, so Krishna asked to mention Balarama's name, since Krishna is only a Vaishya. So the boys offer respectful obeisances and ask if they can have some prasadam after the sacrifice. Although the boys were not educated, they know everything. And they asked for charity, why do they know everything? Because they were hinting that because they are with Krishna, or anyone with Krishna and Balarama knows everything. They just need the association. The Brahmanas did not give any answer. The boys were disappointed and they returned. Krishna smiles. He knows everything. And Krishna pacifies them, saying that beggars may not always be successful. So Krishna asked them to go and ask the Brahmanas' wives. So the boys went and asked. So although the boys were not educated, the boys know everything. How? Teshamevanukam partham aham agnanajam tamah nashayamyatma bhavastah gnanadipena bhashvata. BG 10.11. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So all we need to do is pray to Krishna and pray to his devotees. If we pray, we will get. So Krishna will destroy the darkness of ignorance with the shining lamp of knowledge in our hearts. So the wives of the Brahmanas wanted to see Krishna immediately. They started to fill their pots with food. The husbands, the sons, and the fathers stopped them. Don't go. But they did not listen. For the devotees, priority is not family ties, but the Lord's pleasure. So for an example is the Kunti Devi's prayers. The Kunti Devi wanted more trouble so he could be with Krishna. They left everything that they had, the Brahman, and they gave up everything for Krishna. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyah mokshayashyami ma suchaha. BG 18.66. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So Krishna and Balarama were sitting at the banks of the Yamuna and waiting. Krishna looked all beautiful and attractive. They saw Krishna eye to eye, and they were so happy, and they embraced Krishna in their hearts. Krishna was very pleased and spoke. So he told the wives of the Brahmanas, now you can go home and take part in the sacrifice. But the wives of the Brahmanas surrender onto Krishna's lotus feet. They were like, please protect us. Krishna protects his devotees from all dangers. An analogy, Krishna protected Uttara and Draupadi. The boys enjoy the sacrifice was over. The boys enjoy the food with Krishna. Krishna attracts the boys with his words. The Brahmanas welcome their wives. They regret their sinful mistake. So the Brahmanas don't know the purpose of the Vedas. Why? Vedescha sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. BG 15.615. So Krishna will like change us by like how we are so if we understand the Vedas, it is all because of Krishna. So if Krishna doesn't want us to understand the Vedas because we are not putting that much endeavor, he can do that. And the wives, the Brahmanas did not put endeavor into their sacrifice. They were just doing it. So Krishna didn't want them to know the purpose of the Vedas. So the Brahmanas acted very foolish and ignorant. Why? Ignorant. Why? Aham hi sarva yagnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mam abhijanati tattve nataschavanti te. BG 9.24. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. So the Brahmanas do not know the purpose of the Vedas because Lord Chaitanya says, even though a person is not born in a Brahmana family, if he knows the science of Krishna, he is more than all and fit to become a spiritual master. Srila Gaura Kishore Das Babaji, spiritual master of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Saraswati Thakur. He was not a Brahmana, but he still became a devotee. So the Brahmanas regret. Due to Maya, they forgot Krishna. They wanted to beg forgiveness and offer obeisances. Afraid of Kamsa, they were afraid of Kamsa, but their wives were not. So the wives of the Brahmanas did not care about Kamsa or anyone. They just wanted to please Krishna. Devotees have no fear of anybody. Like Prahlada was not scared of Hiranyakashipu because he knew Narasimha would protect him. So they condemned themselves. They thought the women are less intelligent. They did not have any initiation, but they had much more devotion. Krishna does not need to beg, but he just comes and asks us because he wants to show us special mercy. So Krishna does not need our food, but he comes in a deity form so we can serve him. Thousands of Lakshmis are serving him. Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. It's Krishna's trick to show us mercy. So Krishna told them, your husbands will not neglect you. So if Krishna is satisfied, the whole world is satisfied. So a story how this is showed is Durvasamani, Draupadi, and the Akshaya Patra. So Duryodhana had an evil scheme to get Durvasamani to the Pandavas' house. He did not know they had the Akshaya Patra. He thought they won't be able to feed him anything, and then he will inflict a curse on them. He knew that Durvasamani was a very angry saint, so he sent Durvasamani to the Pandavas' house. So when Durvasamani and his 100,000 disciples came, Draupadi was finished eating. The Akshaya Patra would not give any more food when Draupadi was finished eating. So Draupadi did not know what to do. So they prayed to Krishna and Krishna appeared. Krishna asked Draupadi to get the Akshaya Patra. So in that Akshaya Patra, there was this small grain of food. Krishna ate that and he was completely satisfied. And the moment Krishna was satisfied, all of the 100,000 disciples and Durvasamani were satisfied. So devotees are not inimical to anyone. Krishna, transcendental love for me does not depend upon bodily connection, but anyone whose mind is always absorbed in me will surely very soon come to me for my eternal association. So the conclusion, Naham Vedai na tapasa, na dhane na chachajaya, Sakhya evam vido drashtum, Drishtavana simam yata. The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. BG 11.53. So the Brahmanas thought they could see Krishna by studying the Vedas and doing serious penances, but that is not true. The only way we can see Krishna is love for him and devotion. The wives of the Brahmanas had those two, and they could easily attain Krishna. Yavan artha udapani sarvata samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha. BG 2.46. All the purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. We do not need to read all of the Vedas and know everything. We should read the Bhagavad Gita, which is the purpose of all the Vedas, and understand it clearly. Then we will get Krishna easily. That's it. Please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and be happy. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Samanvitha. That was really a mind-blowing presentation. You narrated the whole story so beautifully and recited the Bhagavad Gita verses so nicely, and so many verses. Samanvitha, our youngest devotee, presenting in Bhagavad Sangha and Krishna Kathamritam, completely all by herself, and this is just fantastic. The way you have presented, Samanvitha, really amazing. Thank you so much. So with that, devotees, thank you, Prashanth, Prabhu, and Samanvitha. Thank you, devotees, for joining today. We will see you all at the same time tomorrow, 7 to 7:30. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Prashant Prabhu, wonderful presentation, Prabhu. Thank you very much. It was a little short, Prabhu. I was a little disappointed. I was expecting more. Maybe next time you will give more mercy. And Samanvitha, brilliant presentation.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Beautiful verses you quoted. So many verses. Amazingly, you told the story also. Very nice job. Big round of applause for Samanvitha.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for giving moral support to Samanvitha.
No, Prabhu, she did answer. Thank you.
Very nice.
Very nice presentation and nice pictures, Samanvitha.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Rasmai Mataji, for supporting.
Yeah, very nice presentation, Samanvitha. I liked it a lot. You got all your points very nicely written out.
Thank you, Prabhuji.